Hi, everybody. We're on lesson four's homework. This is page 93 in the Succeed book. This is the book with the bedroom. Just going to do the homework helper page first, just a little bit of a review of some of the ideas that we're working on. So the first one is talking about that place value chart, our hundreds, tens, and ones, and using this to count. So if we're using this to count, we can see that how many hundreds? There's one. How many tens? That's three. And how many ones? That is five. But this isn't just a one. This is a one, what unit? 100. This isn't just three, it's three tens. And this is five ones. So what we have is 135. And as I've said before, when we're using our hide zero cards, it does make it a little bit easier to understand these ideas. So I really encourage you, if you have not yet, to cut out your hide zero cards, and I'll talk to you more about it at the end of this activity. But we have 100 and 30 and 5. When we put those numbers together, it looks like this: 135. That zero is still there. This number is still 30. It's just hiding under the 5. Those two zeros are still there. This is 100. It's not 1. It's just that these two numbers are covering up that 0. All right? These are tens. If you put them together, which unit will you make? So let's look at how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If we count by tens, we will see that we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So we're circling that there. And think about the song, right? This happens every single time. You get to 9, when you put another one on, you have to go to the next. So we can have 9 ones, but as soon as we add one more, then we have a 10. We can have 9 tens, but as soon as we get that one more, we move over to the hundreds. We can have 9 hundreds, but as soon as we get one more 100, we have to move that over to the thousands. So it's always that 10. We're a base 10 number system, which is why we're calling them also base 10 blocks. All right, so 467, this is a number we worked with today in class. We went from 467 up to 600, right? So they're writing these. We have to make sure we're looking at the order, because this number 467 on the place value charts, then they're saying how many ones, tens, and hundreds. And this here says ones first. Ones, tens, and hundreds. We need to make sure we're really looking carefully, because if we wrote 467, we would actually be saying that it was 764, which is a very different number. Okay, so they've told you ones, tens, and hundreds. We need to make sure we're writing it correctly. So down here is saying, showing away again what we did in class today, using tens and hundreds and finding and circling a benchmark number, the number that makes it friendlier and easier and more efficient way to count. Okay. This is what we were doing in class. So if you wanted to continue to draw the pictures, you're welcome to. You can still do that, or you can just use your base 10 blocks to help you. But they're asking now that you are just writing the numbers. So let's get to it. On page 95 now is the first part that we have to do. Marcos used the place value chart to count some bundles. So how many sticks does he have in all? Remember, those are their hundreds. That's our flat. These are their tens. That is our rod. And then these are their ones. Those are little units. All right. So how many do they have in the hundreds place? They have 2. How many do they have in the tens place? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they have 5 tens. What is that number? That number is not 5. It is 50. I can't find my 50. There it is. And then how many how many do they have in the ones place? How many units? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they have 7 ones. And that number is just 7. Oh my goodness, I can't find any of my numbers today. My 7 is hiding as well. I'll bet it's just underneath one of the others. It does help if you lay things out carefully, but I was in a hurry. There is my 7. So they have 2 hundreds. They have 5 tens and 7 ones. That's Marcos's number. So how many in all? 257. That is how many he has. He has sticks. 257 sticks. All right. Let's look at the next one. What does this bundle represent? That's like our flat. It's 100. How do we write 100? Do we put it all in here? If we put it all here, that would be 100 hundreds. Are there 100 of those bundles? No, there's just one flat, one bundle. So there's 100. How many tens are there? None. How many units? None. This is how we write the number 100 in the hundreds chart. So we have 100. We don't have 100 hundreds. So these are hundreds, just like our flats. If we put them all together, what unit will we make? Let's count how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, shall we skip count by 100 and see? 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, and then one more. Does it make 1? Does it make 100? Does it make 1,000? Or does it make 10? It's 1,000. It's 1,000. 700, 800, 900, 1,000. On page 96, imagine 585 on the place value chart. Here's that thing they've done again. They have put it in the opposite order. How many ones? How many tens? How many hundreds? So let's look at our number 585. If you wanted to use your base 10 blocks to lay it out, you can. But we also know what those places are. We have the hundreds and the tens and the ones. What number is in the ones place? 5. The next one they're asking for is 10. So what number is in the tens place? 8. And what number is in the hundreds place? 5. Hmm, it looks exactly the same. This number is called a palindrome. It's the same whether you do it backwards or forwards. It's still going to be 585. Turn it around. Fill in the blanks to make a true number sentence. 12 ones equals how many tens and how many ones? Well, we know this just from the say 10 way. If we have the number 12, when we have the number 12, we have 10, 2. But we can also look at it as the digits and which digit is in which place. We have this number in the ones place. We have this number in the tens place. So how many tens are there? Just the one. How many ones are there? 2. Good job. All right, we're going to do one of our countings. Now, again, they are saying to just write the numbers. If you would like to draw it or use your base 10, that's fine. I'm not going to get mine out right now. I am going to count it with numbers. So we're starting from 170. I'm going to go ahead and box that like we had been doing so I know where I started. I want to get to 410 from 170. Is 170 a friendly benchmark number that we can count? It is. It is. We can, we don't need to use any ones here, do we? We can start right off by adding 10. So if I add 10 to this, remember 170, 50, 60, 70, 80 comes next. So my next number is 180. And when you're putting numbers in a list like this, we're using commas in between to separate them so that we know where one number ends and the next one starts. So I'm going to put another 10. I'm going to count by 10 again. So 150, 160, 170, 180, 190. And then if I added another 10, this is one of those tricky ones. We have a 9, if I put another 10 here, we're going to wrap it up and move it over, right? So 10 more is another 100, which means we now have 200. Count with me so far. 170, 180, 190, 200. Good. Now we want to get to 410. From 200, do we need to keep adding by 10 or can we start to skip count by 100? We could. We need to get from 200 to 400. So if I put another 100 out, 200 and another 100 would be 300. If I have 300s and I add another 100, how many do I have? I have 400. Is that our number? No, we need to get to 410. So what do I need to add now to get to 410? I'm going to add the rods, another 10, and we would say 410. Now, along the way, we came to benchmark numbers, and we kind of had a benchmark number here. we were able right away to be adding tens. But then when we got to 200, we didn't add tens anymore. We switched out because this was an even 100, which makes it a friendly benchmark number for us to start adding hundreds. So again, if you want to build it with your base 10, that's fine. If you want to draw pictures, that's still fine. They're just asking you though, the only thing you have to do is write the numbers. So our last one, Mrs. Sullivan's students are collecting cans for recycling. Frederick collected 20 cans. Danielle collected 9 cans. And Nina and Charlie each collected 100 cans. How many cans did the students collect in all? All right, let's put our chart down here because I think this is going to help us a lot as we solve this problem. So here's our chart. Where are the hundreds? Do you see any hundreds? We have 100 here. Now don't get fooled. We don't have 100 because Nina and Charlie each collected 100 cans. So that's 100 for Nina and 100 for Charlie. So we have 100 and another 100. How many hundreds do we have? We have 200. Okay, we have 200. All right, is there a tens number? Oh, good. Frederick collected 20 cans. How many tens is 20? That's going to be 2 tens. So I'm drawing 2 rods. So far we've got 2 of the hundreds and we've got 2 of the tens. Let's see, are there any ones? Danielle collected 9 cans. So that's just in the ones column, and there's 9 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 200 and 2 tens, and we have 9 ones. When we put that together, we have 200, 29. 229 altogether. We didn't even have to add this time. We just put our numbers in the right place value. There were 2 hundreds, 2 tens, and 9 ones. 2 hundreds, 2 tens, and 9 ones. That number is 229. So boys and girls, let me just say again, very, very important that you cut out your hide zero cards. Your hide zero cards are in, I believe, your Learn book. If you've lost the ones that I sent you that are on a thicker cardstock, go ahead and cut these out from your book. But it's a good idea to have them as we're working with our place value. It's going to make things much easier for you. So if you haven't cut them out yet, I want you to see how it looks here on the page. There's 100. There's the 10. And then there's a 1. Oh, I could have lost my 1. And there's a 1, right? This is how you're cutting them apart. So you cut the rows apart, but then you're cutting the numbers. So you end up with 100, a 10, and a 1. You end up with 200, 20 and 2, 300, 30 and 3. All right. So you're cutting across there, but then you're also cutting apart on those lines. And boys and girls, these are going to be really important for you to have. So if you haven't cut them out yet, cut out the ones I sent you. And if you can't find them, use the ones in your Learn book. All right. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow in class.